Hi guys, what's up? This is Matt again and introduction to extreme vocal techniques. In this video I will explain to you simple mechanisms that are behind fry scream and false chord so you would know and understand the difference. Fry scream and vocal fry depend mostly on the work of our true vocal folds. Our true vocal folds vibrate in a very chaotic, very rapid, very fast way, and the air that flows in between our vocal folds creates some bubbles, and these bubbles are responsible for the fryish sound like an oil on a frying pan. So very chaotic, very rapid vocal folds, vibrations, and the air that creates some bubbles. Fry scream technique offers high variety of the sounds. We can get high-pitched screams, we can even go higher with whistle register screams like pterodactyl. Or kettle. We can also achieve very low growls, gutturals, we can achieve pig squeals. And of course we can add a distortion to our clean singing voice. Fry is also very sensitive for modulation of the sound. Even lifting up, twisting or doing anything with our tongue can change the sound totally. Fry scream requires lesser effort than false chord for sure, but it requires more smart work in our throat. By that I mean we need to use, for example, vocalist muscle to compress the sound so it would get sharp and very juicy, very distorted. Vocalist muscle is activated, for example, when we drink something and we feel that some muscle works here. You can drink some water and put your finger above your larynx and observe what do you feel, how does it feel to activate this muscle. Very similar sensation appears when we want to compress our vocal fry and transit into fry scream like Vocal fry is a fry scream without compression. No effort, no compression, total relax in our throat. But when we want to transit this vocal fry into fry scream, we need to add some compression, and our vocalist muscle helps us to achieve that. Fry scream also needs lesser amount of air than false chord. The stream of air while using fry is very narrow, and when we use false chord, the stream of air is a little bit wider. Narrow stream of air is achieved by compression that I have mentioned before. Fry scream is great to sustain long sounds like 30 seconds, 40 seconds or even 1 minute long. So shortly about the fry scream. Fry depends mostly on the vibrations of our true vocal folds, which vibrates in a very chaotic, very fast way. Second thing is that fry scream needs lesser effort from our whole body, but requires more smart work to do and more experience to not fuck up our throat and vocal folds by squeezing and clenching it. So compression is needed. A little bit tension is necessary to compress the sound, but too much tension of the throat will kill our voice very quick in a very, very painful way. And here we have some examples of the sounds that are created with fry scream. First of all, high-pitched scream. High-pitched fry scream appears, for example, in bands like Infant Annihilator, Norther, Children of Bodom, Emperor, Dark Funeral, and later Dissection. Low growls using fry. growls using a fry technique appears a lot of times in any deathcore music basically, and for example Polish death metal band called Dies Irae. You can check them out on YouTube. Distortion with clean singing appears in music of bands like Alice in Chains, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Judas Priest, and of course Pantera. And here we have some examples of distortion using fry technique. Yeah, yeah, I love you as a being, but you are perfect in existence. And now shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. I will devour you, take all that pain away. Screaming, screaming for vengeance. And now false chord technique. Distortion in false chord technique is created mostly by our false vocal folds, which are a little bit above our true vocal folds, and interesting fact about them is that they are a little bit thinner than our true vocal folds. So in false chord technique, our true vocal folds are responsible for the tone of the sound. It can be high, it can be low, or whatever. And distortion is created mostly by vibrations of our false vocal folds. And these two factors combined together result in creating false chord technique. As I have mentioned before while talking about fry scream, a false chord needs more air to be pushed with the sound, and it requires more effort from our belly muscles and stronger breath support than fry scream. For the most of people, false chord is the easier one technique to achieve. It comes very natural because all you need to do is to use the breath support and just sigh like you were just pissed off and tired after a day in school or at work. You come home and just want to get rid of any shit that bothers you, and you want to be left alone in peace, like And by the way, it is the easiest exercise to begin with the false chord growl. Screams and growls using false chord technique seem to be bigger, seem to have more volume than those performed with fry scream, and it depends on the stream of air. Like I have mentioned before, a fry scream is narrow stream of air and false chord is a little bit wider stream of air. So sounds using false chord technique seem to be bigger, they seem to have much more volume than those using fry scream. Fry scream is just more compressed stream of air, like false chord and fry scream. So shortly about the false chord technique. It requires a little bit more strength, a little bit more effort from our belly muscles and diaphragm than fry scream, but in the opposite to fry scream, false chord requires from us total relax in the throat, and while using fry scream a little bit of tension is necessary to compress the sound. For false chord we need to relax and just lose our throat and our larynx, because any tension will harm us as hell. The second thing about false chord is that the volume is much higher than in fry scream technique. Also, it is much easier to achieve very powerful, very loud sounds without any unnecessary effort with false chord technique than with using fry scream. So your first fry scream rather will be more quiet than it would be with using false chord technique. For example, first fry scream and first false chord would be like Personally, I prefer more false chord because I like brutal shit and I like vibrations in my belly, in my chest, and I like to hit the sound and really feel that I engage into creating the sounds, and fry scream requires lesser effort, so I feel less. And false chord for me is way much brutal and more engaging. And here we have some examples of false chord. First of all, high-pitched scream.
We invoke the Black Dragon of Chaos! We invoke the Almighty Dragon Force!
High-pitched false chord appears, for example, in bands like New Chelsea Green with new vocalist, Shadow of Intent, At the Gates, and my band Vishuddha. Low growl using false chord. Low growls using false chord technique are, for example, Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, Shadow of Intent, and again my band Vishuddha. Distortion with the singing in false chord technique appears not so often as with fry scream, but the lower we go with our distortion with clean singing, the more false chord we are using, and the higher we go with our singing with distortion, the more fryish is the sound. To hear example of false chord used in singing with distortion, you can check out Sad But True by Metallica and, for example, I Stand Alone by Godsmack. You can also check out a band called Gravedigger. Their vocals are pretty low and they sing with distortion. And here we have some examples of distortion with clean singing based mostly on false chord. Hey, you! You're my mask, you're my cover, my shelter. Do my work, feeling your sting down inside me. I'm not dying for it. Feeling your sting down inside me. I'm not dying for it. So here we have it, a little introduction into the topic of extreme vocal techniques with fry scream and false chord. Now you know the difference between a sound and between mechanism that is behind each of technique, and now it is easier for you to recognize what technique is used by your favorite singers or even by yourself, and which type of sound suits you the best. Thank you for this video, have a good one, stay extremely vocalized, cheers!